Good day, everyone. I'm Dr. Violeta from De La Salle University. I'm currently the Research Coordinator of the Institutional Testing and Evaluation Office. Our study is entitled Students' Academic Self-Efficacy, Engagement, Satisfaction, Perceived Academic Performance in Online Learning. Okay. So we all know that the COVID pandemic has compelled schools all over the world to go into online learning. So the abrupt shift to online learning has affected students in a lot of ways, psychologically and academically. This has affected students' well-being and learning processes and outcomes, particularly their mental and physical health, their self-confidence, their motivation, and academic performance. So the effects of online learning on students also differed based on their demographic backgrounds. For example, based on their gender, year level, and academic program. However, research results are inconsistent and mostly based on foreign studies. There is but a lack of students on college students in the Philippine school setting. There are 4 important variables that are worth exploring with regards to online learning. These are student academic self-efficacy, student engagement, student satisfaction with online courses, and their learning outcomes or performance in online learning. Student self-efficacy has been found to greatly affected by the change in the learning setup. Self-efficacy is defined by Bandura in 1997 as an individual's belief in his capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific outcomes. Academic self-efficacy, on the other hand, is defined as one's belief to achieve a desired level of performance in academic tasks. It is one of the most important predictors of academic achievement, as shown by studies by Al-Qurashi, Aliami et al., Dogan, Hyatt et al., and a lot more. Students who believe that they are capable of adequately completing a task and have more confidence in their ability to do so usually display a high level of academic achievement. The same results were also observed in online learning setup, indicating that self-efficacy is an important psychological factor in online learning. However, self-efficacy is not enough for students to perform well in an online courses. One important factor is student engagement. So student engagement refers to the efforts students make to stay engaged in the process of learning, to gain knowledge, and to build their critical thinking. Another factor is the student course satisfaction. Course satisfaction is defined as a short-term attitude resulting from students' evaluation of their educational experiences, evaluation of the services and the facilities of the school, and a lot more. It has been reported that the more students are engaged in and are satisfied with online learning, the better is their learning outcomes. However, research on group differences in these variables in online learning setup are relatively scarce and reported inconsistent results. For examples, there were studies showing female students having higher level of engagement, studies demonstrating males as more engaged, and studies that show no significant differences. Similarly, there were studies showing female being more satisfied than males in online setup, and studies that found no significant differences. As I have mentioned, while many studies abound regarding online learning, not many studies were done involving Filipino college students. There is also a need to explore gender and year level differences in the local setting. The study is significant as this will provide basis for the design and implementation and instructional programs to help improve academic performance in online learning. So insofar as the objectives of the study, the study aimed to answer the following questions. Do students' academic self-efficacy, engagement, satisfaction, and academic performance in online learning differ by gender and year level? Are there significant differences between students' academic self-efficacy, engagement, and satisfaction in online learning and their perceived academic performance? So the study involved 292 college students enrolled in full online classes for at least 2 terms. 60% were female, more than half were sophomores, 20% were freshmen, and around 27% were graduating students. So the study made use of the following instruments: online learning self-efficacy scale, online student engagement scale, student satisfaction questionnaire, and perceived academic performance scale. All of these scales reported having acceptable validity and reliability. So these instruments were administered to the students through Google Form. Informed consent were taken, emphasizing strict confidentiality and anonymity. Data were analyzed using descriptive stats, particular mean and standard deviation, t-test, ANOVA, Pearson correlation, and regression analysis. So insofar as results, so for significant differences in the different variables by gender, results indicate that male and female students were found to significantly differ in all variables, with males posting higher levels of academic self-efficacy, student engagement, and satisfaction. However, female students have better perception of their academic performance in online learning. So the results that male students having a higher level of academic self-efficacy, student engagement, and satisfaction are actually consistent with most of the results done abroad. No? So, for example, insofar as academic self-efficacy, research showed that male students to show more confidence in online tasks. This is, they said, because male students have higher perceived ability and confidence in their abilities, comfort, and engagement and with computers. This is according to Ashong and Commander in 2012. This is, however, a big contrast to the meta-analysis review, which reported higher competence beliefs in learning and in digital settings among female students, and other studies that showed no significant differences. The study also showed high level of engagement among male students, as I said, indicating that the male students spend more time studying and staying up on reading and assignments, putting more effort to make their lessons more interesting and relevant. They also participate more in online forum, and they also do well in their tests and other requirements. This is consistent with a study involving 39 countries, which showed gender inequality of usage and access to ICT in favor of male students. This was done by Draboswicz in 2014. There were other research also that showed males being engaged in online learning than female students. Example studies by Harvey in 2017 and Idrisi et al. In 2020. So again, as I said, the study also reported significant gender differences and level of satisfaction, with males having more satisfaction. This finding actually supported the meta-analysis by Kai in 2017, and also study by Lu Choi in 2010 and Nestor in 2013, no, that showed males having more positive perception of e-learning than female students. However, one study done in the Philippine setting, a study by Baloran et al. In 2021 showed no significant difference in the level of course satisfaction based on gender, age, year level, and course. Lastly, female students were found to have better academic, perceived academic performance, no, in online learning. This finding is consistent with those found by Sylvain, who reported that female students have higher level of perceived academic performance in online learning setup. We also conducted ANOVA to find out significant differences in all these variables by year level. No? That is between freshmen, sophomores, and graduating students. Okay. The results showed that there are no significant year-level differences in all variables. No? This indicates that despite differences in their length of exposure to college education, the levels of academic self-efficacy, student engagement, and satisfaction among these groups were comparable. No? This is also true for their perceived academic performance. I guess this is because these students have been on online learning since the start of pandemic. No? So the younger students during their high school and the sophomore and graduating students during their first 2 years in college. Insofar as relationships of the different variables with the perceived academic performance, results show significant and positive relationships among the variables. So this indicates that the more a student is confident with his ability, they're more engaged and satisfied with online learning, the better is his or her academic performance in or online learning. However, regression analysis results show not only student engagement and student academic course satisfaction significantly predicted perceived academic performance, explaining around 42% of the variance in the dependent variable. Okay, so for conclusion, so results of the study indicate gender differences and students' academic self-efficacy, student engagement, and course satisfaction, with males reporting higher level of self-confidence and engagement in and satisfaction with online learning modality. Females significantly perform better in online learning. No significant differences were observed based on year level, but there's a significant relationship between their self-efficacy, engagement, and satisfaction with their perceived academic performance. So insofar as recommendations, okay, so as gender differences were found in students' academic self-efficacy, student engagement, and satisfaction, teachers should strike a balance by providing various kinds of tasks that will provide students, especially female students, conflict tasks, no, that will help them in building their confidence in their capabilities, that will encourage them to be more engaged and participative, to develop their positive attitudes and improve their learning outcomes in online classes. Just like in previous research, this study has shown direct linkage between self-efficacy, engagement, course satisfaction, and academic performance. So it is important for the schools not to ensure the relevance of their curriculum and course contents the quality of their teachers' instructions, the digital skills and course organization, as well as the quality of their ICT equipment and facilities. Since there is a lack of research on online learning in Philippine context, and because of conflicting results regarding the group differences, more in-depth research is needed to have better understanding of the Filipino students' performance and outcomes in online learning. It is also important to consider the dynamics between other motivational factors, such as motivation, the casual attributions, goals, self-regulations, and academic performance in online learning. Also, it is also important maybe to explore other outcomes, student outcomes in online learning courses other than the perceived academic performance. Maybe we can look at the actual academic achievements such as GPA. And also, it is also important to look into the psychological and emotional well-being of the students as a result of online learning. So example of this will be important to look into their life satisfaction, their overall well-being, social interaction, in terms of their productivity, in terms of their attendance and completion of academic tasks. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.